Hey guys, it's Karl. We've got a really fun one today. You can see some vehicles over my shoulder because we're right in the middle of that transition period of the electrified vehicle. And what that means for you guys, you have different choices of not only vehicles, but powertrain options, whether that's hybrid, plug-in hybrid, hydrogen fuel, or even full electric. So as you can see, we're out front of the Toyota HQ. We've partnered up with them for this video, and their main goal is to reduce greenhouse emissions as much as possible through a large vehicle approach or a large portfolio approach. So this will give you the option, or I guess a little sneak peek into what vehicle choice you have. We're gonna hop into the Rav4 first because that's the one that I'm eyeing. Let's take our first drive. All right, so as I mentioned, the Rav4 Prime, which is the one that I'm most interested in, you can see that it's juicing up right now as this is the only true plug-in hybrid that we have of the three vehicles. And I know some people get a bit confused the difference between hybrid and plug-in hybrid. As the name implies, a plug-in hybrid has an actual plug as it has a separate battery that you can charge on its own. So a hybrid is mainly a combustion engine with an electric motor, but all of that gets recharged through the regenerative process of braking, whereas this you can rely solely on the electric battery to get actual range. So on the electric battery alone, you can get around 68 kilometers, which is honestly great for just driving in town, in the city, and combined you are looking at 979 kilometers. That's close to 1,000 kilometers on a single tank and of course a single charge. And underneath the hood, we have a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder gas engine with a 6.6 kilowatt AC charger. It does of course come nicely in the back. And you can kind of see with the exterior styling of this car, the Rav4 has come a long way. The wheels, I always look at wheels first. So 19 inches, these are some pretty big alloys. Those are looking really good. And around front, we have really aggressive styling. We've got some extra scoops. I think they might be fake, to be honest, but it does look good, to be honest. And coming around, you can see that it's actually just plugged in. We are pretty much at a full charge and pretty simple. I just got to get the key out, unlock the car. This comes out. And I think we're ready for our first ride. So the Rav4 Prime, and like I mentioned when we were just outside, this is a plug-in hybrid. I love the idea of being able to cruise in the city, in town, solely on battery. And when you need that extended range, when you need some of the gas engine to get you to further places, you have that option. And if or when you have access to a charging port, you can juice it up. So you can get a full charge in 2.5 hours with quick charge if you have a 240 volt charger. Like I said, this one is tough for me or a lot of people that say live in condos that don't have access to that. But when we are building a new house, we will have something in the garage where we can plug in an electric vehicle. So I think that's really great. And when you look around the interior, we have perforated seats. They're nice and comfy. We've got the red deviated stitching around. This is the XSE model, which means it has a larger 9-inch display. Once again, I'm gonna say this in comparison to the Tundra, which has the most up-to-date infotainment system. I cannot wait to see that trickle down. It serves its purpose, but I'm sure that will come in a future update when they refresh the interior. If I am being super nitpicky, I know I can get really geeky about this stuff. The gear selector, not even faux leather, but it has this foam almost that wrinkles a lot. Once again, just trying to nitpick everything here. The ride though is super comfy, and the Rav4 is known for obviously affordability, the fact that it can haul stuff, whether that's camera gear like myself. For this shoot, we have so much gear that we're bringing, a dog, groceries, it is the all-arounder, and it doesn't end up breaking the bank. And on that electrified scale that I've been talking about, I think the plug-in hybrid is still this sweet spot because you don't need to worry about range anxiety. You don't need to worry about always plugging this in. This one literally gives you the best of both worlds, I think. Okay, so the Camry, I have very fond memories of this car. This was actually the very car that I got my driver's license in, not this specific model, but my ex-girlfriend at the time, her parents had to lend me their car, and it was very different looking. It was the classic beige on beige. How far we have come from that point. Exterior wise, it is completely different. All of the little bits are blacked out. So the mirror caps, some of the badging, the 19-inch alloys, which are in gloss black. It is very, very different looking, very, very sporty. And you can even see coming to the interior, decked out in red leather. Off-white stitching, and dare I say this car might be the one that surprises me the most. Even that little wireless charger up front, I know $100,000 plus cars that still don't have that. For the rest of the dash, or I guess the infotainment system, this is where it feels just a little bit dated, especially when I took a look at the Tundra. This does have a larger display, 9 inches. It works, but I feel like I'm reviewing a laptop sometimes. Slightly chunky bezels as we get moving onto the highway. But when that infotainment system from the Tundra comes to the rest of the lineup, I think that will be nice and updated. And underneath this hood, a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine. And out of all of the ones that I have driven, this feels the sportiest, it feels the dartiest, and that's because it has a different chassis. It's the TNGA chassis platform, and you can hear it as I gun it down, merging onto the highway. I like this car. I like this one a lot, actually. It has a certain responsiveness as we kind of hammer down flat out that a lot of cars in this segment don't quite have, and I'm changing my mind on the Camry, actually. I dig it. We've got different driving modes, and I've got mine set to Sport always, which makes it the most responsive, and even the gear selector does come with faux leather around that. The Rav4 needs to take a couple notes. And unlike the Rav4, which was a plug-in hybrid, this just being a standard hybrid falls at the very beginning of the electrified car spectrum. You still get around 600, 650 kilometers I saw on a full tank, and you get the best efficiency in terms of not needing to wait to plug this in. There is pretty much zero downtime, and I think I already know I like this car's handling the best. And last but not least, this is the new Tundra Crew Max, and you can already tell, maybe even by the distance of where this camera is, this thing is huge. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm no expert at driving trucks, I'm not a truck guy, but from getting into this, I could be. So we'll start off with the exterior first. Obviously, it is looking pretty good. It's got 22-inch wheels, full resin tow bed, which you can get extended, and has these little fancy automatic step-up ladders. That's not the correct terminology. Step-up platforms on the side and on the back as well. I think you know what we're saying. We're gonna put it into gear, and I know that this model, or the Tundra specifically, has the updated UI package, and I've raved about that when I've gone in the other two cars. This is what we need to see across the entire fleet. It is updated, it's modern, it's got thin bezels, it operates as quick as a smartphone. It feels like it belongs in 2022, going into 2023. Wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, you just need to connect to the Toyota app, which isn't too difficult. And like I said, for me, the interior is what's winning all the awards. We've got the two-tone leather, this gorgeous wood trim, even little things like the wireless charger for your phone. It's on an angle instead of flat like the other two models. And obviously we got to talk about powertrain, as this rain has literally come out of nowhere. 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 hybrid engine on a 10-speed auto, 437 horsepower, 583 foot-pound of torque, which a lot of that comes in at the low end. And that's one of the benefits of a hybrid. Most people will talk about hybrids for the efficiency, obviously for the range, but there's also that flip benefit on utility, and for having a heavy duty vehicle like this, something that hauls something, that torque advantage you get all in the low end range, and the numbers for towing and torque show that. And I think a lot of you know we are in the process of building a new house. Trying to store stuff in an SUV just doesn't cut it. So this could actually be the most practical vehicle for me, and this is probably the vehicle that I like the most. I could be a truck guy, and Toyota, if you want to let me keep this one, I wouldn't mind that, to be honest. On this little gear selector, you've got the different drive modes. Tow haul, not that we did anything too heavy duty. Our off-road testing involved driving through a park, just getting off onto the grass area. That's the extent of my truck skills. I told you I'm not really a truck guy, but I could be. I definitely could be after this. All right, so we are at the end of the week of my electrified journey. The sun is setting on the final day. I've had around 2-ish days with each vehicle, and if you were to ask me which one my favorite was, brutally honest, I would honestly say it's a hybrid mix between all of them. If we had the interior of the Tundra, the infotainment system, it was the most modern of the three. I honestly can't wait till that trickles down into the rest of the Toyota lineup. And obviously the space, we all crushed team lunches inside. So much roominess, so much extra space, and obviously the bed in the back when I could move around stuff, building my house, throwing Link in the back. I don't know if he'd jump out, but we probably wouldn't try that. Just having that extra real estate is a huge difference. On the RAV4, the range, the true plug-in hybrid. For honestly, my lifestyle, it doesn't work as I don't have a plug at my condo, but if I make that shift to that house, to a spot with an actual plug, that would make a lot of sense. And we didn't even talk about their full electric car, the BZ4X. Obviously, that's at the very end of their electrified portfolio. And to be honest, the one that surprised me the most, the Camry. It has come such a long way. Exterior styling, having all the blacked out bits, the blacked out mirror edges, honestly took me by a bit of surprise. The handling was the best, the acceleration was the best. So if we could create that hybrid of 3 of those vehicles, my favorite features, I think that would be my fave. Obviously, I know that we can't do that, but I'm curious which vehicle you guys liked and where are you on the electrified journey? Where are you for your next vehicle? Where will you kind of slot in? Until the next vid, once again, big shout outs to Toyota. We'll catch the rest of you in one of my next ones. Peace.